coming to play in the bottom of the fourth. Defensive change for the Badgers, taking over at second base, number 16, Hannah Concord.
Middle of the fourth, we're halfway home in Seattle, and Mother Nature says it's not going to be that easy to get all the way home. The rain has moved into the Puget Sound area on this brisk Sunday afternoon in Seattle.
Mother Nature is right on point. We were expecting a little bit of rain at noon, and 12:01, she's on the dot. Ponchos, umbrellas, rain jackets being broken out here at Husky Softball Stadium as the Dogs work to get a little momentum going, trailing 2-0.
Jaden Glab leads off for the Huskies. It's the heart of the Dogs order, and they trail 2-0.
Here we see that timing slap again. Her feet will move through the box as this pitch is being delivered. Salo just missing the corner on back-to-back curveballs. We saw the home run out of Glab yesterday on an arm side pitch, sending that over the left field wall. Salo not wanting to give Glab anything close here. Right side playing pretty deep. Conger over at second, nearly on the grass line.
Salo does groove one over there. Glab with just one hit this weekend, but it was a big one. A solo home run yesterday. And then she works a leadoff walk. So, Brooke, you've pitched in these conditions and played in these conditions in Seattle. How much does the rain change things for a pitcher like Salo, who's been in a groove and now has to deal with some precipitation?
Certainly, as it's key really for a pitcher to keep your fingers dry, and whether that's working with a towel, whether that's kind of wiping on your pants. As the rain comes down, your pants usually are wet from the rain, so that's not really a dry spot. So finding that towel in between pitches, and really if the ball's wet, you got to get it back to the dugout and get a dry one, because it's hard to spin the ball, as we've seen Gabby Salo doing a great job spinning her curveball and her rise ball. So it definitely has an effect on pitchers.
Flores drops down the bunt. Salo fields and makes a calm throw over to first base for out number one. Glab advances on the sacrifice.
Nice job by Flores there, doing her job, laying down the sac bunt to put Glab over in scoring position. Textbook softball. Get him on, get him over. And Alvarez trying to put her former, teammate into score.
Alvarez takes the first pitch up high. That was the 14th sacrifice bunt by the Huskies this season. Still trailing Wisconsin by a healthy margin, but just about everyone trails Wisconsin in that regard. You have 35 sack bunts this year. Alvarez blasts it deep to center, and it's out of here. Giselle Alvarez creams her 5th home run of the season and ties the ball game in the 4th.
That'll get some life in this Husky dugout. Alvarez staying through a pitch on the outer half and tying this ball game up in one swing. Good work out of the sophomore Giselle Alvarez. Dogs and Badgers tied at 2 here in the 4th.
And another lethal bat steps in Charity Seva-Atasi.
Seva-Atasi looking for something on the outer half. Both her monstrous home run and her game-winning double Friday night were both on the outer half. Certainly likes hitting something hard. Hunting a curveball here likely. Does have the ability to turn on something on the inner half, but ultimately a lot of her power is when she gets a pitch out in front on the outer half of the plate.
One of the most experienced Huskies, a 5th-year player. Spent the last 4 years at Oregon State. Redshirted in 2023 due to a knee injury, but over the other 3 seasons, she started almost 80 times, racked up 13 home runs as a Beaver, helped propel them to the Women's College World Series in 2022. Washington is thrilled to bring in someone with her experience to the program.
And certainly you love to have transfers that have been to the Women's College World Series on your roster. Maddie Balk being another player on this Washington roster who has some Women's College World Series experience. Crucial for such a new team to have that veteran leadership.
And Seva-Atasi will have to retrieve the lumber here, with the count now being 3-2. And the 5th year's already got her bachelor's degree in business management, which she earned at Oregon State, and now pursuing a Master of Jurisprudence here at the University of Washington. Salo with pitch number 234 of the weekend, and it's hit deep to center, but Lucy tracks it down in the gap for out number 2.
There's that swing on the outer half, just missing it. Well struck ball. Lucy taking a good angle to snag that for out number 2, sending freshman Sophie Mazzola up to the plate.
Mazzola 0 for 1 today. They ground out to 3rd. Sends this one down the first base side, but foul. Mazzola came in with the Huskies thinking that there's a good chance she'd play shortstop. Wound up being a better fit in the outfield. Typically placed in center. Salo continues to battle, although there is some action in that Wisconsin bullpen. 1 ball, 2 strikes. So the Badgers with Shelby Jacobson warming up out there. As Mazzola rolls the 1-2 to first base, it takes a sharp hop against Bark, but she's able to snare it with the glove and finish the inning. Well, the Husky Bats awaken in the 4th. They need only 1 hit to tie the ball game. Even the Broccoli guys out there celebrating after the 2-run shot from Alvarez that ties the game.
At the University of Wisconsin-Madison, we believe in working together to address real-world challenges. That's why we're proud to help farmers cultivate healthy food and landowners preserve and maintain forest land. We're proud to educate the next generation of teachers and drive groundbreaking medical research. Together, we make an impact that rings loud and clear. One Wisconsin, on Wisconsin.
Fans in the bottom of the fourth, Giselle Alvarez hit a 2-run home run, and that means that T-shirts are being thrown to the loudest fans in the stands. So get up and get loud right now if you want a free T-shirt.
The Huskies elect to make a pitching change going into the top of the fifth. Sophia Ramuno comes back out, and she'll pitch in every game this weekend.
Yeah, she got her 12th start of the season Friday evening, going 5 innings, striking out 7, only giving up 1 hit allowed in that extra inning battle before passing the torch off to Morgan Reimer, and now working a little bit of reverse. Morgan Reimer now passing the torch off to Sophia Ramuno. We saw her just briefly last night throw the final out of the game as she came in behind Riley Rabine. Ramuno gonna consistently work up in the zone with her rise ball, away to right-handed hitters with her curveball and her changeup. She's got plenty of out pitches, which makes her unique, so critical for her right now to be able to work ahead in counts and be able to work around the zone, picking her poison of out pitch.
And Kate Linkletter with a check swing that lobs one over to third base, where Alvarez fields on a short hop and throws her out for the first out in the fifth.
Pretty elite play there by Alvarez, making it look routine. Good job by her noticing ball on ground early, charging that, throwing it on the run. We've seen some pretty stellar plays out of Giselle Alvarez over at third, making some not so routine plays look routine.
Danielle Lucy takes the 1-0 inside, 2 balls, no strikes. Lucy still looking for that first hit of the series.
Lucy grounded out on the drop ball pitcher being Morgan Reimer. First time through, now seeing Sophia Ramuno working more up in the zone, having to make an adjustment on which side of the ball she's going to hit. A little bit of maybe sign confusion here. Washington using the pitch comm with a signal coming from the dugout to their digital wristband.
And even though Lucy is hitless in this series and in the 9 spot, she is a dangerous bat. Entered this weekend second on the team in home runs with 6 of them. Also second on the team in stolen bases, so the Huskies don't want to let her aboard. Ramuno gets her looking. A punch out for the second out in the fifth.
Beautiful changeup by Ramuno, complementing her rise ball nicely and just catching Lucy looking on that changeup.
Back to the top of the order for the Badgers, the first baseman.
And that changeup and mix of off speed is what reminds head coach Heather Tarr of Danielle Laurie and Taryn Alvello in the circle. Just the way she works in that off speed consistently and often down in the zone. Great deception, working off of that rise ball and that curve ball. No small compliment there, Jason. Danielle's jersey being retired. You see it on the right field wall. And that has to feel pretty good being compared to those two greats.
Yeah, I was going to say no small compliment is almost understatement of the year, being in the same breath as one of the all-time great Huskies. I don't see any other jerseys up on the wall out there.
Nope, she's the only one. I remember being here as a fan when her jersey was retired. It was a pretty rainy day, very similar to this. I remember being under the umbrella.
And the Huskies, of course, with so much tremendous softball history, and it's littered across the wall here at Husky Softball Stadium. 15 Women's College World Series appearances, the one national championship in 2009. Bark floats this one to right field. Flores tracks it and finishes the frame. So Ramuno comes in and delivers a 1-2-3 inning. Washington back to the plate with a chance to take the lead, but tied up 2-2.
Our score remains the Huskies 2 and the Badgers 2. All right, fans, we are halfway through the fifth, and you know what that means. It's time for the fifth inning stretch, and take me out to the ball game.
Closing out a 3-game set in Seattle, and then these two squads will head in opposite directions. Washington flying south to face off with UCLA in what should be a great series, Brooke.
Yeah, 2 back-to-back weekends on the road, and then joined again at home at the end of April against a very good squad out of Nebraska. Familiar face next weekend out of UCLA, former Pac-12 foe.
And you might have caught the little Big Ten Network logo there for the Nebraska series. At least 2 of the games that weekend against the Cornhuskers will be on national TV. So I hope you'll tune in to catch those, as well as the rest of those road series that will be on Big Ten Plus.
Yeah, same weekend, Sis Bates and Bailey Klingler will be here the Nebraska series on a little preseason tour for AUSL. If you missed it yesterday, Athletes Unlimited Softball League is a new league for Athletes Unlimited where the same roster of players for teams will travel across the country playing in collegiate stadiums.
Peshek grounds one to second. And
Seattle.
Wisconsin records the first out in the 5th.
Seattle fortunate enough to be one of those stadiums that get to view some pro softball in July. They'll be here July 11th through the 13th this summer. Bailey Klingler, former Husky, will compete for the Blaze. Sis Bates will compete for the Volts, and a couple other Husky alums on some teams. We won't see them in Seattle. You'll see them at other stadiums across the country, being Victoria Hayward and Ali Aguilar, both on the Talons. So really just fired up for our game of softball at the highest level here in Seattle.
Yeah, and Heather Tarr said she's thrilled that the highest level of the game will be coming here to the Emerald City and taking place right at this ballpark.
We saw a glimpse of how fun it is to play softball in sunny Seattle, and certainly going to get some good weather into July, so no greater setting here on Montlake to have some great softball players. You've got Sierra Romero in the mix, Michigan, great. Kaylani Ricketts, another great.
You know, the rest of the country thinks it just rains here year-round, Brooke. So they're all going to find out in July that the summer here is something special.
Hoping Mother Nature can show out. The end of spring and summer is really why we love playing here. I mean, that makes it worth it through all this rain. Some Husky faithful today and some ponchos.
Bubke belts it to center, and it drops in. A one-out single from the Husky 9-hitter. So let's take a peek now at that Wisconsin schedule. They got 10 straight games at home. St. Thomas and North Dakota State, both double headers.
And this is a Wisconsin team who has played a whole bunch of games on the road. They got their first home series last weekend against Iowa. Obviously on the road this weekend in Seattle, but like you said, Jason, will spend a good chunk of time playing at home in front of their home crowd and taking a short trip over to Northwestern towards the end of conference.
Carroll tries to drop down the bunt, but it's foul. The Badgers, one of the last teams in the entire country to play their first home game, which they didn't do until last weekend against Iowa. And they made the most of it, sweeping the Hawkeyes. Now trying to salvage a win in the series finale here in Seattle. A 1, and Carroll leaves it off the plate. So a key spot here, Brooke. Washington with a runner on with 1 out and a chance to take the lead. Solos 1-1. Carroll annihilates it to right field, and it looked like Kuffel didn't see it off the bat. It's up against the wall for a double as Bubke slams on the brakes at third.
Ava Carroll continuing to swing a hot bat. Ava Carroll doing Ava Carroll things, sending this ball one-hopping the wall. Having to hold up Bubke at third, but Carroll no problem getting into 2. This ball just crushed. Good relay off the wall for Kuffel, but no problem for Carroll with that stand-up double. I think Carroll got to second maybe before that ball was even to the second baseman, Conger.
And now they're going to take a look at the previous play. We've seen several runners leave early during this series, and right now the Huskies are crossing their fingers that Bubke didn't jump.
We talked about it earlier, costly mistakes. We've seen it more so previous on the Badger side, leaving early, costing the Badgers some runs thus far in the series, and this is a monumental call if Bubke did leave early. We'll take a look here. I mean, that's just about as close as it can get. I think she was fine. I think she was perfectly on time, certainly close. Worth the replay review is that double by Carroll is game-changing, putting both runners in scoring position with 1 out. But we'll get the official call here.
Adam McAloney says safe. Bubke did not leave early, and the Huskies have 2 in scoring position with only 1 out.
Bubke certainly thrilled by that one. You can see her a little bit sigh of relief, knowing, yeah, dude, my lead was on time. I wasn't early. I'm sure she knew it the whole time, right?
She looked confident over there, and Heather Tarr has been trying to fire up the Husky crowd. She just got a Go Huskies chant going in the middle of the frame, something you don't see very often from the third base coaching box, but this crowd had to get up early for an 11 a.m. first pitch, and Tarr is bringing the caffeine for them.
I mean, no better way to start your Sunday than a little bit of early softball before noon. We don't see that very often. You see some 2 stars there for the Huskies. Jaden Glab sporting number 4, Alexis DeBoer 16. Chatting it up with head coach Heather Tarr and assistant Lance Glasso.
And what a spot here for DeBoer. got her first career triple yesterday. Also had a single in the 8th inning on Friday to spark a Husky rally, which they needed to extend that ball game. And she's going to face a different Wisconsin pitcher. Salo exits, and Shelby Jacobson comes in. The Salo stops just shy of 250 pitches this weekend. So Yvette Healy and Mike Roberts out chatting with their infield here in the bottom of the 5th as Jacobson takes over.
Is Felchi getting loose? Only left-hander on staff. I saw the long balls off of her yesterday. But I'm in agreement with the pitching change by Mike Roberts. Salo, just what a weekend. How many pitches she's thrown. Putting up a lot of innings Friday night, working 4.1 today. Just giving up 4 earned runs on the weekend. 7 walks on the weekend, so a little bit of uncharacteristic free passes.
But she throws 14 innings, so essentially 2 complete games. A weekend ago, she got her first 2 career Big Ten wins, and this is one of those series where if you're Salo, you just got to wipe away the win-loss stat because she's been outstanding in the circle for Wisconsin.
I mean, and I think that was what, Carroll's 8th at-bat off of Salo?
Yep.
I mean, eventually hitters are going to catch up to it. We see it a lot of times, 3rd times through. Team's batting average increases off of the same pitcher, but I mean, you don't see 8 times through in the same weekend, maybe out of a season.
It's kind of like in the movie Elf when they say, if he hasn't figured it out by now, I don't know if he ever will. And you know, if the Huskies haven't figured out Gabby Salo by now, you probably never will.
Eva Carroll certainly figured it out.
She did. The 1-out double, putting runners on 2nd and 3rd for Alexis DeBoer, who swings over the first pitch from Jacobson.
You see Jacobson working with that towel in her back pocket. A little bit of sticky grip as well. That grip legal just allows your fingers to be a little bit more tacky on the ball. You do have to touch another surface between touching the sticky material.
DeBoer drives it to center. Lucy backpedals and makes the grab on the track. Both runners tag up. Bubke comes home, and the Dogs take the lead on DeBoer's sacrifice fly.
DeBoer getting a hold of this one, sending it out to the warning track just shy of that 220-foot center field wall, but great job doing her part. Sac fly, putting her Dogs on top. Good heads-up base running by Ava Carroll over there at 3rd, being able to advance.
Jaden Glab takes the first pitch up high.
Glab walked last time up and was able to come around to score on Giselle Alvarez's 5th home run of the year. So looking to get aboard here again.
2 balls and no strikes, and DeBoer hasn't necessarily wowed this crowd this weekend, but 3 very productive at-bats in crucial situations for the Huskies.
Yeah, just showing off her versatility of, look, I can hit the long ball. I can lead my team in home runs.
Glab rolls it down the left side, off the glove of Blomberg, fair. Carroll comes home, and Glab runs into second base. The Huskies go up by a pair in the 5th.
Glab turning on this pitch on the outer half. Blomberg diving down the line, trickling off her glove and bouncing off the padding, which really allowed Glab to get all the way to second. Putting Flores in a great spot here to tack on another RBI. Broccoli man fired up out there in center field. He's feeling the walk-up song of Flores. He was getting into that one.
And like everyone else, he's got an extra layer today.
And Jason, you talked to him pregame about his broccoli? I mean, what was the conversation like there?
Well, just wanted to introduce myself. An honor to meet a legend here in the Seattle sports community. But I did ask him, is that fresh broccoli? And he said, this is 1 game old. It was used yesterday, recycling for the series finale. And there he is in the Dixie Cup sweatshirt. That is his signature, along with the broccoli.
I'm curious why the broccoli, no cauliflower, just something unique to stand out.
Flores chases upstairs, 1-2.
The Seattle Mariners did do a special on him, so you can learn more about him and his broccoli story somewhere in the Mariners cloud. I couldn't tell you exactly where it lives, but it's out there somewhere.
That's what we have search engines for. Flores down the line in left fair. Glab's around third. The Huskies tack on another. Flores and Glab trade places. 3 doubles in the frame, and the Huskies go up 5-2.
Talk about a double party here, turning hard on this pitch on the outer half. Flores continuing to hit the ball hard, trading places. And she's happy about that one. Little celebration dance at second. And it's got to feel good putting your team up 5-2 as you were trailing earlier in the game and breaking through the 2-2 tie.
And the fans have probably gotten a little antsy in every game this weekend. Yesterday's contest, we only saw 3 runs through the first 4 innings. On Friday, just 2 runs in the first 7, and they've stuck it out. Doesn't matter if you needed a poncho or an umbrella, your raincoat. They've hung around to see the offense finally erupt.
They had to bring it all out. They had the sunscreen and the sunglasses out yesterday. Today we're having to put those away. Grab the raincoat. We'll be joined by another pitcher for the Badgers. We saw Felci yesterday.
Yeah, so it's a short outing for Shelby Jacobson, who's replaced by the freshman from Staten Island in the bottom of the 5th.
Felci yesterday. Going to primarily work for her curveball on both sides of the field. He also has drop and rise. I saw plenty of her curveball. Both Glab and Tassi sending that curveball out of the yard yesterday, but she's in likely to provide a different look from the left side. Felci went from just kind of getting some innings here and there throughout the season and had no wins. But last week versus Iowa on Friday during their doubleheader snagged both of the wins. So went from 0 wins to 2 wins real quick in her freshman campaign.
And she had a season-high 4 strikeouts against the Hawkeyes last Friday. A series that the Badgers swept, and now they're trying to avoid going from winning a sweep to losing in a sweep. As we take a peek at the score just down Walla Walla Road over at Husky Ballpark. The other UW Diamond Dogs in line for a sweep if they can come back, trailing 1-0 right now against the Purdue Boilermakers. It's been a full weekend on campus. Giselle Alvarez takes the first pitch low. So we have both Diamond Dogs in action. We've had an NCAA tournament regional for gymnastics. plenty of tennis action, and that's not to mention all the folks who flooded onto campus to see the cherry blossoms in the quad.
The cherry blossoms are beautiful, but the traffic, Jason, is not so much. Sometimes a nightmare to get off the exit and jump on Montlake. It feels like you're sitting there forever and you're just only gaining inches.
Yeah, some folks told me it took 15 or 20 minutes to get from U Village over to Husky Ballpark last night.
For fans listening at home, that is not very far.
It's about a 20-minute walk, probably, so you could have beat the car.
Felchi's going to start on the right side of that mound. Advantageous for her curveball, ability to step across her center line, creating an angle for her hand to work around her hip.
Ripped down the line, but it's snared by Bark, and that closes the frame. The Huskies tally 3 runs on 4 hits, including 3 doubles. Carroll, Glab, and Flores all with 2 baggers. And Washington takes their first lead of the day. It's Huskies 5, Badgers 2 as we head to the 6th on Big Ten Plus. This game is being produced by students at the University of Washington as part of the Big Ten Network Student U program, an on-campus experience that is unique to the Big Ten. Student U is part of an educational mission to teach the next generation of sports production professionals. For more information, visit bigtennetwork.com/studentu. And Brooke, over the course of this weekend, and in particular today, our production team has put on a clinic. Some of the replays we've seen on bang plays, they have slowed down to the point where we got the best possible look you can even imagine.
Yeah, they've been on it, especially on those replay reviews, able to slow it down frame by frame, give us the ability to kind of talk about what's going on. So appreciate all the hard work and preparation that they've all got going for us.
Obviously the first year here for Washington, the Big Ten, and for the Student U program on campus, but they look like seasoned vets the way this show has gone today. Top of the 6th, Sophia Ramuno in her 2nd inning of relief and facing off with the 2-hitter Molly Schlosser. 2 balls and a strike.
Little addition of the towel for Ramuno in the back pocket. Little bit of drizzle on and off.
Ramuno pulls the string, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Just loving the speed change of that pitch as it comes in, but really loving the location. Continuing to work that changeup at the bottom of the zone.
Hit sharply foul down the right field line.
Been a strike thrower thus far, only 16 pitches in her outing today.
She's thrown in all 3 games this weekend. but only had to get one out yesterday, so plenty left in the tank here in the series finale. Lifted to center, Mazzola retreating all the way to the wall, and it bounces. Extra bases for Schlosser. She's thinking 3, and she slides in with a triple.
Now batting the third baseman, number 23, Hillary Blomberg.
It's a good pitch on the outer half. Schlosser able to stay through it. Ball bouncing a little bit away from Craig and taking advantage, taking on 3 bases.
Hillary Blomberg first pitch swinging and pops it up down the right field line. Bubke makes the catch and throws home, and Schlosser won't test her.
Washington going right at Blomberg. We saw previously in both of Blomberg's at-bats the ball leaving the yard, so definitely a good sigh of relief there, keeping Blomberg in the park. Her first at-bat hammered that home run over the center field fence. Second at-bat over the left field fence, and there we see her flying out to the right side. Didn't quite reach right field, but good heads-up defense by Jade Bubke. That runner over at third, trying to maybe steal, force a throw, did force a throw out of Bubke. But sometimes you can catch defenses sleeping. They sell out for the foul ball, but then the runner ends up tagging.
Here's Kendra Lewis, and the Badgers remain aggressive here. First pitch swinging in the 6th.
I think they got to stay aggressive, just getting their swing off early. As Ramuno gets ahead and counts, she likes to work around the zone, having multiple out pitches.
Grounder to first, foul. Well, Wisconsin likely feels like they have to cash in with at least a run here, given this is the heart of their order. And unless they can bat around, it's going to be the bottom of the order in the 7th.
Yeah, not trying to do it all here, trailing by 3, but just seeing if you could scratch away one. Not going to win the game in one swing here. But all right, I got one out. Can I try and score my teammate? Schlosser over at third. Bring this thing to a 2-run deficit.
Called strike 3. Ramuno catches Lewis window shopping, and there are 2 down.
Nice out pitch there by Ramuno, but Glad behind the plate, one of the best pitch framers in our game. So her ability to get pitches out of the zone called for strikes.
Ground ball, third base side, foul. Well, Husky fans don't realize it yet, but Cuffle will get another shot.
Yeah, Alvarez not 100% positive. Was it fair? Was it foul? So anytime you got any sort of doubt, just continuing to make the play. Looks like Ramuno's maybe pitch calm there, went out. Giselle Alvarez giving up her pitch calm, giving it to her pitcher.
No balls, 2 strikes as Ramuno gets ahead.
That changeup just dropping off the table. Looks like a good height when you're in that decision zone and just falls right below your barrel.
0-2 pitch, swung on and missed. Ramuno notches back-to-back Ks. And after the leadoff triple, Wisconsin winds up scoreless. Huskies up by 3.
Why do people come to the University of Washington? They come here to find people who will inspire them, move them.
Charity Seva Atasi leads off for Washington in the bottom of the 6th, with the Huskies on top 5-2. And Jordon Felci still in the circle.
Saw the long ball yesterday off of Felci, sent that outside pitch over the left field wall. And I'm noticing a little bit of footwork alignment in the box for Seva Atasi, which is a common sight when you have a left-handed pitcher that works her curveball into righties. So we'll see if she does it again so I can explain it. But you'll know what I saw last time is her feet at a little bit of an angle. So you're matching the angle, doing it again. She's matching the angle of the incoming curveball to get her swing on plane. Is that the band getting into it? Yeah. The band has moved from center field where they started the game, and now they're on the right field line getting into it. I always loved as a player when the band showed up. They bring just that little extra oomph of energy.
Well, it is what they're calling Sunday Fun Day here at the ballpark. So the band's bringing the energy, but in the concourse they have face painting, poster making, pitch speed contest, and photos with Dubs.
Yeah. Nothing better than a photo with Dubs. Maybe Bark in the Park, which we had earlier this season, but always loved to see him out here.
I feel like Wisconsin, with their first baseman, could really be doing Bark in the Park every game. Seva Atasi with a little dance after the leadoff walk, and
I wonder if she knows she
dance
was
back
on
to the
camera
dugout.
there.
Doubtful.
She'll be pinch ran for by Jean Gardner, local Seattle product, one of those 4 returners on the roster for the Huskies. We've seen her in a bunch of different roles this season. Husky fans have seen her in the outfield. She got her first career start at third base, actually, Jason, when Giselle Alvarez was out due to injury, doing a good job being a role player, just a true utility player. And now today, we see her pinch running with no outs, trying to work the speed. I wouldn't be surprised to see a steal. Wells has the cannon of an arm, but the rain is coming down, which is a factor.
So Mazzola squares to bunt and then sees strike 1 with the corner infielders crashing. And the rain has picked up here. You can hear the pitter-patter atop the press box. Gardner goes, the throw behind her, and the tag not in time.
There we see the rain getting a little bit of the best of Wells. This throw too high and too up the line. Nice job by Hubbard trying to hang on. And head coach Healy will be asked for a second opinion on this call, talk about what happened. Nice head first slide by Gardner. That's probably the better slide when you're going in for the tag. You have less, your body's flatter to the ground, so there's less of a high tag available. When you slide feet first, sometimes your upper body torso will hang higher in the air, making you an easier tag. So certainly that head first slide, the go-to for Gardner.
Second stolen base of the season for Jing. As the pitch from Felci is low in the dirt, scoots past Wells, and Gardner scoots down to third. Well, those wild pitches become a little more common when the precipitation picks up.
Certainly no shame in calling time and asking for a new ball. Again, as this game goes on and the rain continues to go down, feels like every inch of your uniform is dry, or excuse me, wet.
Badger infield drawn in here.
Nice backdoor curve. lefty on lefty matchup opens up that backdoor curve a little bit more. That backdoor curve coming at Mazzola and then moving on to that inner half. Just kind of nibbling the corner. So not going to move as much as that glove side curve, but certainly stealing a strike there.
Mazzola swings over the 2-2, and Felci notches the first out in the 6th. Brooke, a theme in this series has been capitalizing on base runners, and this is another game where the hits column is really close, just about even. Washington up there 5-4, but leading by 3 in the runs column after Wisconsin out-hit Washington yesterday. Bubke hits that one on the ground to third. Blomberg looks Gardner back and gets the second out. But after Wisconsin out-hit the Huskies 10-6 yesterday, kind of surprising to lose 6-2. And again today, it's just the Huskies doing more with the base runners that they've earned.
Yeah, just taking advantage of the opportunities and the free passes and really capitalizing on it. We've seen far too many base runners for both teams being left on and some costly base running mistakes. So definitely trying to make that adjustment. Third game of the series.
And here's Jade Bubke after Peshek grounded out.
Looks like we're seeing the angled stance again. It's a good approach off of a left-handed pitcher who's going to primarily work their curve. Trying to match the incoming angle of the pitch. Trying to stay through it and hit it to right center field.
Bubke has reached in each of her 2 plate appearances today. 2-0, hit sharply at Blomberg. It caroms off her. Hubbard's still going to make a throw, but it's not in time. The Huskies cash in and add some insurance in the 6th.
And there we see it again, that leadoff runner aboard Charity Atasi, working down the line with the free pass walk, and then ultimately in the end coming around to score on that swing by Jade Bubke. Doing a nice job there by Jade, turning the lineup over to Ava Carroll with runners on. Seen Carroll swinging a hot bat this year in this series. Saw the stand-up double earlier.
This inning kind of a microcosm of the series and the issue we were talking about earlier with Wisconsin getting a leadoff triple in the top half of this frame, but the runner getting stranded at third. Washington comes just a pitch or two away from suffering the same fate, but Bubke comes through to make it 6-2.
Felci trying to do everything she can to keep her fingers dry, keeping the ball dry. Critical to keep that ball in your glove, out of the rain. Sometimes pitchers like to start with the ball in their hand, kind of spinning on their hip as they're waiting for the sign. But critical in this environment to keep it in the leather, out of the rain.
2 balls and a strike for Carroll, who doubled in the 5th. Part of the barrage of 2-baggers that the Huskies got in that frame. Bubke takes off, and she's in safely.
Certainly testing the arm of Wells on a rainy day. Can you still throw a dart on a line as this ball is a little wet? Maybe your fingertips are a little wet. 2 for 2 there this inning on steals. Gardner having the first, and now Bubke with the second.
And that one gets away from Felci, but that close backstop leads to a quick ricochet back to Wells. Bubke does advance down to third, and this is the same formula as Gardner had. Swipe second, wild pitch to third.
And if this isn't some spring weather in Seattle, I don't know what is. We went from 70 degrees yesterday to now 50 today. Right, the change of pace for these two teams in less than 24 hours. You had the sleeves off for a lot of athletes, and now trying to just find a dry spot on your pant, on your towel. Trying to do what you can to spin this pitch. Little smile out of Felci, knowing how hard this is to pitch in the rain.
And the freshman from Staten Island trying to navigate some treacherous waters here in the sixth, as even the Badger fans knew to bring their umbrellas out to Seattle. Outfield and infield both deep for Alexis DeBoer.
DeBoer with just such a simple swing. Short and quick to the ball, able to adjust well to all spins. A lot of success on that outer half. I wouldn't be surprised if she's hunting that backdoor curve to stay over the plate. Also not surprised that Felci's trying to jam it in there.
DeBoer, the National Player of the Week in early March, when she slugged 1769 in a non-conference tournament. An All-American on the high school level, who has shined bright in her freshman campaign. Slow roller in front of home. Felci goes home and gets Bubke in a rundown. Wells down to third. Now Blomberg's chasing Bubke to the dish, and Olivia Bark has come over from first base to tag out Bubke and finish the frame. So we get a pickle to close the sixth. The Huskies tack on another, and it's 6-2. Washington on top as we head to the seventh. Okay, 1, 2. The Huskies have scored in 3 straight frames, and they take a 6-2 lead into the top of the seventh in Seattle. The Husky band bringing the energy through the rain that has crossed into the Puget Sound region here on Sunday afternoon. And the grounds crew doing a little extra work here as Sofia Ramuno gets ready to pitch the seventh. Ramuno with 2 innings of relief already. A pair of scoreless frames with only 1 hit against her, 3 strikeouts, no walks. And she'll face the 6, 7, and 8 hitters. Emmy Wells has been near flawless this weekend. Came into this game batting .800. She's still batting .800 for the series. after a couple of free passes in this game, a hit by pitch and a walk.
Nice change of pace there by Romuno with the changeup, continuing to float it in there at the knees. Seeing a lot of these Badger hitters take it for a strike.
Another quick score update from just down Walla Walla Road. Purdue leading Washington 2-1. As Romuno strikes out Wells. One down in the 7th. She's been the toughest out in the Wisconsin order.
And this is just a beautiful rise ball up in the zone. Wells knows it as soon as she swings. Good tight spin. Wells unable to hold up, and Romuno catches her swinging for the first out of the inning.
Romuno rocks and deals to Bojan. Strike one. Well, Morgan Reimer came in with a team-high 13 wins this season, but Romuno has carried the Huskies through the final 3 frames here. And she gets Bojan to wave at strike two. Washington didn't score until the 4th when they got the 2-run homer from Alvarez. Then they piled in 3 in the 5th.
Yeah, hitting so contagious. Feeling like a little slow start for the Huskies today offensively, but Alvarez just breaking that thing open earlier, tying up the game, and it's been contagious ever since, tacking on 3 in the 5th.
Romuno catches Bojan looking. A nasty off-speed pitch. A pair of Ks in the 7th, and the Badgers are down to their last out. Romuno with 4 consecutive strikeouts now. Facing off with Ellie Hubbard. Well, both these teams entered the series in the top half of the Big Ten standings. Each a couple of games above 500, but Washington has turned the tables on Wisconsin. One. Hubbard lifts this one down the line and right, and it gets out of play.
Thought the band was going to have a chance on that one.
Tuba can double as a mitt.
That may beat the cup of beer catches in the MLB.
2-2 pitch. And the count runs full. Now, usually the crowd is a little more energetic at a moment like this, but the rain has calmed things down. 3-2. Called strike 3. Romuno closes the game with 5 straight strikeouts. And the Huskies extend their winning streak to 9 games with a sweep of Wisconsin. Well, Brooke, Heather Tarr told us this season has felt like a jump start every now and then, jump starting a car, and the Huskies got their jump start midway through this game, trailing 2-0 until the offense came alive in the fourth. And once again, the Dogs prevail. A lot of close games this weekend in Seattle.
Yeah, a lot of close games. Saw an extra inning game on Friday, and just great momentum for Washington working into this next series on the road versus the UCLA Bruins. So exactly the momentum that you need and that you want if you're head coach Heather Tarr. And this is Blomberg's first multi-home run game of her career, sending 2 over the wall today. But that'll be all the runs that the Badgers can score. Some great defensive plays for Washington. Reimer just starting this game, dealing with the strikeouts, down in the zone, up in the zone, glove side. She could do it all. But really the offensive party got going right here with Giselle Alvarez breaking through, tying the game up with one swing. Fired up there.
And the Husky offense propels them to victory. A sweep in Seattle. Shout out to our full Big Ten Plus crew. For Brooke Nelson, I'm Jason Doro saying so long from the Emerald City. Washington takes all 3 over the Badgers this weekend.